Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about Grandmasters Gauntlet and the long-awaited guide for it. And I can't even begin to start counting the amount of questions, comments, DMs and all else I have received for it. And once you actually get down to it, the guide is not as easy to make, because it all depends on what you have available on your account. I could, in theory, spend a day, 2 or 3, craft the best combination of 5 champions that answers the most of these problems, when in reality it would probably help out only a handful of people, because not all that many people have all the needed top champions there. And that is kind of like the most common thing that I noticed throughout the day. Everybody's asking, will this team work? Will that team work? How about this team? And obviously, most importantly, what do I do if I do not have Quake? Therefore, first things first. Nowhere today I mention Quake. Quake, for all intents and purposes, do not exist because everyone without one is acting like a giant baby. That being said, I'm going to do my best to guide you through the best I can. Keep in mind, if you do have Quake and if you can use her, she is by far the best answer for a whole plethora of fights here, but I suspect you know as much, and at the bare minimum you can refer to my live run. As a side note, I will try to do another run live, probably on Monday, without using Quake or any of the champions that I used in the first run. But we'll see where we get to that. So I have listed down all of your opponents on each and every single one of the paths. They have different color indexes. And those color indexes are more or less what I consider to be more dangerous opponents. Not necessarily always because the fight is the highest level of difficulty, but at times it is because those are the roadblock fights. So when you see bright red color here, it means you can get stuck there. It means if you do not have an answer for it, there is a very good chance that you're just gonna have to quit out. Today alone, I have received at least 5 people messaging me asking for advice with a team that just can't take down Sasquatch. Whether you like it or not, you just might have to quit, or spend plethora of revives trying to, I don't know, one-hit heavy attack, knock him down and hope the regen doesn't proc. So Sasquatch is definitely the first fight to talk about because of the life cycle, because of everything else, because of his huge regeneration. Sasquatch is a fight that you have to be prepared. Where is that? Very little. So he has recovery, which further enhances his regeneration, which is extremely potent. And make no mistake, with pretty much no champions, you will be able to flat out outdamage it. You need to either have a crap ton of debuffs available to you, or a heal block, or a petrify in order to shut down healing. If you can't shut down healing, you're going to have a bad time. Obviously, life cycle presents its own problems, and then we have hard knock life and power snack, which are not an easy fighting node combination. Therefore, Sasquatch is the first fight you must make sure that you have an answer to. Now, in the next tab to this sheet that I will make available to every single one of you, I have listed a bunch of potential options. Those are not only options by any means, and I might have overlooked some brutal ones, but I did my best to list kind of like more standard, more reasonable options. And Sasquatch, you will need something like Archangel, Torch, Warlock, Mysterio, or some other way to answer that regen without always needing to land a parry, like Void, for instance. Void will be good for this fight as well. And going back to that, we're going to get back to that sheet, don't worry guys. And I will make this spreadsheet available to everybody. We have Weapon X, but Weapon X is a bit more straightforward because we know how to deal with him. He also has enhanced healing and all that other stuff, but you just need to make sure that you have answer for Weapon X. And if you do, you're going to be just A-okay. For instance, yeah, just the same Warlock that you will use for Sasquatch. Right. So on first lane, the 2 most dangerous fights, so even if you just want to go for the bare completion rewards or collect maybe 1 stack of anything, 1 chest, first chest, you need to deal with Terrax and Spider-Ham. Dr. Doom, I'm sure you guys will find ways around, and again, I'm going to list the options, but Terrax and Spider-Ham are two of the nastier lanes. Terrax, because his power gain is absolutely insane, and the damage you get back from him is quite crazy, and there are not all that many great options, I'll be absolutely honest. And then we have Spider-Ham, who has increased power gain and is debuff immune and is awkward as hell and can be quite tricky, so you need to prevent his evade without relying on any sort of debuffs. Now, moving on to path 2, I mentioned Weapon X, then Thing is fairly straightforward. Korg is annoying and is one of those fights where if you do not have a good counter for, you might end up dropping a ton of revives. But all of the orange and yellow ones, no matter how bad they are, you can chip through them. You can just keep on hitting, reviving, and even if you have overlooked something, you will be able to get through those fights. But again, against Korg, and he has Mixmaster as well, so ideally you want something that deals energy damage, or that is mutant, or that doesn't make contact on his base hits, and has some sort of ability to bypass evade. That's kind of like the main thing there. And again, I'm going to suggest some options. Path 3, Nightcrawler can be literally done by any champion at all whatsoever. Spider-Gwen is relatively tricky, but I guess I'm going to change her color to yellow before I publish it, because she has one-eyed, open, and stunning reflection nodes, so she's basically absolutely stun immune with enhanced abilities to evade, but really it isn't all that bad. Where's that yellow color? Is this the one? Yeah, there we go. Think so? Same? Good enough. But you do have your standard evade prevention methods like Falcon, Aegon, if you have managed to ramp him up by now, or Nick Fury, or Venom, and a bunch of others. Domino is fairly straightforward. Matador and Power Shield is actually fairly quick and enjoyable fight. Mojo is that one tricky son of a gun. I actually saw somebody on YouTube spend 30 plus revives to chip him down, because once he gets his charges up, and you start gaining those hater buffs, you just die instantly due to the massive attack. So whatever your plan is for the Mojo, make sure it works very well, because the more fights you fail, the harder the fight is going to get. Then we have Immortal Abomination, which, well, on its essence, it's not too bad. It's just the fact that if you have a poison immune champion, you can get it done. It's going to be a long fight with unless you use somebody like Archangel, but you must be aware that you should use poison immune champion or somebody that can benefit from those poisons. Last lane, APOC is quite annoying champion as well, can't deny that. APOC is relatively annoying, and there's just no way around it. He treats every champion like he's mutant champion, so he's immediately going to go up all the way up to 4 charges, and you need to find a way how to deal with him. Sasquatch we talked about. Killmonger, Archangel or Armor Break is kind of mandatory. Against Void and long distance relationship, you need to be able to shrug off debuffs basically, or just like Corvus with 1 HP, that can work too. Nick Fury is fairly straightforward, and they were nice and gave us kinetic transference to help him push to level 2s. That being said, I'm not going to recommend anything for Nameless Thanos, because Nameless Thanos is realistically the easiest, or one of the easiest fights on this entire thing, honestly. But the entire idea here is that you choose your team and make sure that you have every single fight accounted for. And this is going to be a very simple tool for you to use to pick a champion that you have, write which fights he can take a next champion, write which fights they can take, and make sure that you have all 20 fights covered, and you're going to be good. Now, for an example, I'm going to use somebody that one of my subscribers sent to me, which was their strategy. So they went in with Archangel, Namor, Doom, Nick Fury, and Warlock. And here we can see which champion they used for each of the fights. He also gave me the revive count for each fight, but I did not include that. But in general, he covered all of the fights here with the 5 champions, and done and dusted, not a big whoop. I must say that there are some definite fights again that you do want to answer much more than others, and I'm gonna actually write them down here. Must have answers before I publish it. Must have answers for. Must have answers for Sasquatch, number 1. Number 2 will be Terrax, I guess. Spider-Ham. Mojo. I think those are kind of the more critical ones. Void obviously too, but it's relatively cheap downable, similar to Killmonger. And okay, Eye Bomb. That's about it, I think. Ham? No, I already listed Ham. Which one should we add here? Mojo, Eye Bomb, Spider Ham, Terrax, Sasquatch. Korg, I guess. Otherwise, it can get costly there as well. So these are the fights that you need to focus on most. Rightio then. Let me just quickly frame this in for you. Oh, should not have done that. I'll leave that at 12. There we go. And then the final sheet. Again, I'm going to quickly name some suggested options or champions that I believe can do these fights. Now, with Doom, it's not too hard. Just Archangel, Namor, Ihawk, Spider-Ham should be quite good, or Ghost should also be able to take that fight if need be. Possibly Torch, I'm not too sure. Then we have Terrax, which is Namor, Gladiator Hulk, Magic with Mega Boost. I must advise on Mega Boost if you're going to be trying it with Magic. Black Widow, Clairvoyant, go into Poison Curse and just try to block it and make sure he never throws a special attack and just siphon his power off. And then we have Gladiator Hulk. And, sorry, not Gladiator Hulk, Ihawk. That's meant to be Ihawk. Very good that I'm spotting some errors. Right, so Vision. Some people use it to ramp up Aegon with some revives. You can use Spider-Ham because it's Taunt. So you can also technically, if you choose to bring in She-Hulk or some other champions with Taunt, well, have it done there. Or Doctor Doom and Magic. Even though you have 90% reduced power drain ability effectiveness, you still can use it to make sure he does not get 3 bars of power. Then we have Modok, which is again, Aegon, Nick, Archangel, Magneto, Corvus, Small Man should be fair decent amount of set of options. That's not the hardest fight. Spider-Ham, some of the best Spider-Ham counters. Falcon, Nick, Professor X, Mole Man, Venom, Crossbones. Those are some of your better options. And again, these are not all the options, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some. I'm just kind of like trying to get you guys on the right track, how you can pick your own best teams. Path 2. So let's move on to the path 2. So we have Weapon X with Archangel, Warlock, Mysterio, Professor X, Aegon ramp up. And we have Thing with Thing, Shang-Chi, Nick, Aegon, Falcon, Mole Man, APOC, Crossbones, Korg, Professor X, APOC, Falcon, Aegon, Ghost, Doom, Mole Man. Right, Mole Man? Did Mole need to be? I guess Mole Man, why not? Dragon Man, Doom, Torch, Magic, Ihawk, Magneto, Guillotine 2099, Spider-Ham, Black Panther, Clairvoyant, Doom, Nick Fury, Archangel, Aegon, Magic, Shang-Chi, Corvus, Ghost, APOC, Nightcrawler, literally any champion, just parry and hit him while he's parry stunned. That's very, very easy there. Spider-Gwen. So we have Venom, Falcon, Professor X, Nick Fury, Aegon, Crossbones, or the strategy that I used is Corvus and hit her block. Domino, Mysterio, Warlock, Corvus, Gulk, Ghost, Guillotine 2099, Spider-Ham. Sure, why not? Mojo, Archangel, Spider-Ham, Immortal Hulk, Magic, Torch, Corvus, Cap Infinity War, if you know what you're doing with Cap. Immortal Abomination, Aegon, Archangel, Immortal Hulk, Gladiator Hulk, Corvus, Ghost, Warlock, Mysterio. Why not? Sounds good. And then we're gonna have Apocalypse with Warlock, Ihawk, Corvus, Ghost, Magic, Mysterio, Sasquatch, Archangel, Torch, Warlock, Mysterio. Must have answer to region. You can try and fit in Void on your team maybe, or any other good answer to regeneration. I'm actually wondering how would Mr. Fantastic fit on this team with we'll see. We'll see what team I decide to redo this quest with. Killmonger. Corvus, Archangel, Venom, Cap Infinity War, Professor X, Nick Fury, Namor, Magic. Again, with Venom, you need to know how to play that fight, how to heavy punish his level 1s. And with Cap Infinity War, you need to have the skill champion and the cosmic champion in your team. So I'm gonna kind of okay, I'm gonna delete them off for now, I guess. Because otherwise people are gonna complain that they don't work. There we go. Void, Aegon, Nick, Shang-Chi, Maulman, Corvus, Crossbones, Cap Infinity War, all perfectly viable options. Nick Fury, oh, She-Hulk is there as well. Shulk. I probably should have added Shulk somewhere on these notes. Anyways, Nick Fury is quite easy. Namor, Archangel, Nick, Doom, Magic Magneto, Spider-Ham, Corvus, Professor X, why not? And in the bottom here is the a smaller MVP list where I listed about, what, 24 champions that are able to answer multiple of these fights and were kind of like jumping out to me. Obviously, this is not all the champions that are capable of doing this content. I did not include also like Cable, for instance. I know plenty of people have been bringing in, and I know other options. But these are kind of like the more used champions that you at whose direction you can kind of look at when it comes to dealing with this quest in general. So we have an example, how to fill your sheet basically when it's already filled in. That's going to be sheet number 2. Sheet number 1 is just an empty sheet that you are meant to fill in yourself. Sheet 3 is me just giving some common, well, possible options for specific fights. So that is about as good as I could make this work for as many of you, because once again, there would be no such thing, well, there would be not much point of me making up a perfect team, because everybody's abilities are different and everybody's rosters and, well, champion availability is different as well. So I thought this would be the best way how to guide as many of you through this piece of content. Hopefully you did find it useful. If you did, then forward it to your friends who are also looking to get this done. If you have any more questions, definitely check out the comment section, because you are more than welcome to leave your own personal experiences and suggestions there. What worked, what didn't work. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I missed out something. And you are perfectly free to ask some questions, and I'll try to answer as many of them as I can. And last remark, as mentioned before, I specifically did not mention Quake as any of the options for any of the fights because, well, I know people are so sensitive about that. Whatever. So, if you have Quake, trust me, bring in Quake. Anyways, that will do for now, and I shall catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all been about the